We're going to be looking at qualifying attribute name and also aliases, and this is a continuation of our database management systems SQL notes that are in the description below the like button. This is continuing off of our videos that are in the description below the like button as well. For qualifying attribute name, we want to use the same name for 2 or more attributes, and we can as long as the attributes are in different relations. For qualifying the attribute name with the relation name by prefixing the relation name to the attribute name. So we're going to go over an example of this in a second, but this is when something has ambiguity. Looking at the previous table we've been using, when this looks something like this one right here, you can see our department locations and department have D number for both of them. So how do we decide which goes to which when we're talking about which ones? Well, what we're going to have to do is we could either use qualifying attribute name or aliases. So with qualifying attribute name, we can restrict and get the department one by doing department.d number. So this is basically getting the D number for our department. An example of this is like employee.lastname is going to get the last name from our employee relation. Department.dname is going to get the D name from our department name. And then we have select, where we get the D name D location. So for our employee.lastname and department.dname for our example, the select is going to be D name D location. And this is from our where. And our where is going to be where we have the department.d number. And then we have locations is equal to department locations dot D number. So we just have this department dot and we have the department locations dot. So we can see that they have the same name right here. It's totally fine if they have the same name, but they have to be a part of our different relations that must be stated like this. And then this is from our department and department locations. And then we just have D name and D locations just printing out here. This doesn't really matter. So it all starts from our where we have to specify these since they're the same thing. Now we're going to look at aliases. This is when we are given an alternating name to a table. So for like our previous example, if we were to change this up and not do it like this, instead of having department.d number like that, using the actual table name, we can change it. So for example, this is the same for our select. Now our where is going to be d.d number, and this is dl.d number, so we're just changing the name of it. Unlike our previous one with qualify, aliases is determined in our from. So qualify is determined in our where, we have the department dot, and then our from is actually determining what everything is. So this one we can see we have department as D and department locations as DL. So this aliases is basically setting them to these things. So department location is the DL and the department is D. So we get our D number, our D dot number, and then our DL dot D number. So that's another way we can do it. And then we just have another example of this like right here. For this example, it's a little bit different. For each employee, we want to retrieve the employee's name and the name of his or her immediate supervisor. So again, we're going to be in our from place, and if we are using the same table twice, we just make different names of it. We can think of E and S as 2 different copies of our employee. So we're making this employee copy twice. We have employee ES. E represents employees in the role of supervisees, and S represents the employees in the role of supervisors. So this one is for an example, as it is correct but not supported. So we have our E.first name, E.last name, S.first name, S.last name. So we're selecting all of those. We have our froms, E and S, and then we're comparing the employee super SSN and the supervisor SSN. So we're comparing them together and retrieving the employee's name and the name of his, her immediate supervisor. So this one is an example. It's correct but not supported by MySQL. The next one is however this next one is. So aliasing can also be used in any SQL query for convenience. We can also use the as keyword to specify aliases. So we have the same thing as basically we have up here, except this is the way that we're going to be doing it. We have employee as E and then employee as S. So that's just the way we do it, just like how we did it up here. And that's going to be how we look at aliases and qualify attribute name. Next, we're going to look at some more notes, but that'll be in the playlist linked below the like button.